Okay. All right. So anyway, so this is Stevie Hopkins. I'm Emily Walensky, and I'm leading this hangout on entrepreneurship and NMD. Business ownership is a very interesting topic. It can lead into a lot of fun bureaucratic and management of life intricacies, I guess you could say. And so I'm here to talk to Stevie because Stevie has this business called 3E Love, and he has deemed himself the director of awesome. And and you still call yourself the director of awesome, don't you, Stevie?
Other people, it just stuck. I didn't mean to call myself that, but yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start and ask you some questions. I'm going to mute everybody and leave the chat box open just to kind of keep down background noise. And I think you can unmute yourself, but I'm going to mute you all except for Stevie and me. So hold on one second.
Is this video getting publicly posted? Should I be careful of what I say?
Nah, who's watching really?
I don't know.
I mean, hold on. If you were running for president, maybe.
Okay.
So I don't know. Just think about your answers.
Okay.
So what I want to start with is a way to kind of introduce. If nobody knows what 3E Love is, but I think everybody does really know what 3E Love is here, right? I think so.
Let's just pretend like they don't and see what you say. I'm very
well.
curious.
I want to know what your you know what an elevator speech is?
Yes.
I want your elevator speech.
Okay. Right now, you ready?
Yes, please. We're in an elevator. Ding ding.
How many floors? Like 5 or 25?
I don't know. 10.
10? Okay, we got this. 3E Love is this really awesome social entrepreneurship. The whole idea is to change the perception of disability through commerce. So what does that mean? It means I sell shit with the wheelchair heart symbol on it, and people dig it, and they wear it, and then conversations happen, and it promotes a positive image of disability, but more than that, it allows other people. This is like 25 floors, I apologize. It allows other people to sort of promote their message through it, because if you're wearing a wheelchair heart on your shirt or on your hat or whatever, and you're at a store and you're like, hey, what's that all about? Well, I can't control what they say. I have no control. So in a way, I consider it a tool that I am selling to the world.
Okay. Thank you very much. Cool. So 3elove.com is the website if you want to see more on that. I'm going to talk. I know you said your memory shot, but I'm going to try this. So thanks to Blake, because Blake inspired this question. What was your first sales experience memory? What was the first thing you ever sold?
With 3E Love?
No. Like in general.
Oh my gosh.
Because Blake says that you were selling T-shirts door to door, but you deny that accusation. So
that never happened. But door to door, I was selling newspapers because I wanted to be a newspaper boy when I was like 10. Like, I thought I would be the best newspaper boy ever. And that ended up turning into my first employer-employee relationship, because I realized I could not throw the newspaper, and I was a useless paper boy. So I ended up hiring my mom as a slave laborer to run my newspaper route, and I got all the money, and I was on the float, and like I was the newspaper boy, but I never was the newspaper boy.
Interesting.
So that was my first sales experience. My sister and I started a lemonade stand on the bike trail one summer. That was like when I was like 9 or 10 probably. That was some good sales experience. Yeah, and then it kept going on and on and on from there. At like age 9 it started. I was always trying to sell something. First sales experience for 3E Love, it wasn't as creepy as door-to-door sales, but it was pretty creepy. My sister, Annie, and I, we thought it'd be really smart to go onto MySpace and search for the word wheelchair or disabled people and just creep on people on MySpace and just like send them random messages and be like, hey, check out these cool t-shirts. And we literally did that for a week and got like no responses at all, except for one dude named Joe in Michigan, who had the hots for my sister, and that was really the only reason why he replied. And he ended up being our very first customer. And he still has the original shirt we sold him. And he was my very first online customer, 2007, July or August. And now he's got like a PhD in bioethics and disability studies, and he's one of like my biggest proponents. But yeah.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
it's it kind of, you kind of were that MySpace move was kind of like what Facebook does now, where it searches for individual words and then markets to, people that have, search or, whatever we talk about, they find us and then they try to sell us. So it's the same kind of thing that was a very, bright idea.
Well, it was towards the end of the MySpace boom. It wasn't easy anymore. I used to make like most of my living off of MySpace before 3E Love, so I was good at it, but it did not work to search for disabled people.
Okay, good to know. I won't do that on MySpace.
So,
here's a question. So we were talking about the lemonade stand, which I imagine two kids in chairs selling lemonade would pull in the bucks, right?
Oh, you pulled in some bucks, but there were some logistical nightmares.
Well, I know, but I still imagine like that had to be the saddest sight in America when you guys were out there on the trail, right? And so
I guess so. I never thought of it that way.
But so this is where it leads me into, I think one of the things you do really well is that for some reason you managed to avoid, I think, inspiration porn.
It's rough, but
So how like what is your strategy with that? Like how do you manage to not turn into someone that kind of becomes a sad sap and this is this, and how do you go from like inspiration to empowerment?
I think because with 3E Love, we're very, very, very straightforward that it's a company and that we're selling merchandise, and that's important. I think that people get the hint like right away, like this isn't some sad sap story, like we're doing something here. So that's one. I think most of our customers get it. They know why they're buying it. They have their own reasons. Now, some of them, they don't have reasons that I support, but I can't be like, sorry, I don't want you buying my t-shirts. Like, that's not really right. I can't discriminate against like who buys and wears my stuff. It's pretty impossible. But definitely I have some customers who, in my opinion, are wearing it for the wrong reasons. Like that would borderline inspiration porn, or like pity for their children, or whatever the situation is. But I can't control that. What the hell am I going to do? Like put a filter for all the people that I think aren't buying it for the wrong right reasons? Like I can't do that. So luckily though, I think the way that we promote the image and the message, just by being very straightforward, very commerce oriented, people they get the hint right away that it's bigger than that. All the photos that I post on Facebook, all the like stories that I post, I'm very, very careful. I don't pick ones that will inspire too much, like, like a lot of times people will give an awe no matter what the hell you post, like I can't like control that either, but I'm pretty careful about that. So I feel like the only way that it would turn into inspiration porn is if the non-commercial posts and content that I posted would cater to that, and it doesn't. Another thing, the only areas I have a hard time with when it comes to inspiration porn is when I'm like branding myself and I'm promoting myself as an individual, because I do a lot of speaking engagements, probably 1 or 2 a month. And that's tough because when I don't speak, yeah, people might be like, oh, you're so inspiring, you're so inspiring. I hear that a lot. And sometimes I feel like it's for the right reasons, and other times it's for the wrong reasons. And as long as I don't like dig into the wrong reasons and I don't like cater to it, then it's okay. But at the end of the day, like somebody's getting off on me, and I can't control that.
Let me ask you this. Generally, do you feel that people take you seriously as a CEO, or do they see you more as the poster child for a company, like the people that don't do their research? Do you think that you get more, do you know what I mean? Do you think that people see you as a CEO, as a business owner, manager, all of that?
I think the ones that actually do business with us, they know they did it. They read the page, they read the About Us section. In every order confirmation, it's signed by me, and like it says like, hey, email me if you have any problems with your order. For the first 2 or 3 years, I did all the customer service, all the emails, all the phone calls. I did everything. So the first 3 years of customers all understood who was running the show. And so anytime they referred other customers and told them about the company, they told them about me, they told them about my sister, told them about my mom, they told them about the whole family connection, and then they did it, you know? And the ones that did it, they seem to be really empowered by it, because you got to understand, and I know you guys understand, that for a lot of parents of children with disability, they don't have a lot of people like, you know, us to look up to and like set an example. And so when they find an example, they freaking run with it. You know what I mean? Like if they hear about, you know, you with your job, or, you know, Blake with design, or me with what you love, and they are inspired by it, then they're going to tell everybody about you. You know what I mean? Whether or not you appreciate that or whatever. So point is a lot of people know what I do. They know that I run the show. But yeah, I run into problems even with disabled people, customers. They come to my booth and they'll literally say to my staff, my able-bodied staff, hey, where's your poster boy, Stevie? It's like, really? I'm a poster boy? Like, I thought I gave up that gig when I was like 12 and I quit on the MDA, you know? But I still run into that. I have more problems with other vendors and other manufacturers. They don't get it. So I think I lose out on some business opportunities because of that, you know? They don't know. When I'm like in person, they don't realize that I'm the guy to talk to. I have to always feel like I'm constantly proving myself that I'm not, you know, what their image of disabled is. Sometimes I feel that way at certain events. The physical therapy events, for whatever reason, like PTs just do not get the 3E Love movement as well as other professions do. Seriously, like when I go to PT events, like I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere. When I go to OT events, occupational therapy, it's like 3E Love heaven. It's like they all did it, like they did it, like they got tattoos on their bodies, like they're taking selfies with me, they're spending hundreds of dollars, like whatever. When I do special ed events, like it's like half and half, you know, like every like professional type, it seems like they either get it that I'm like running the show, or they think I'm the poster boy. And it's like very interesting.
Gotcha. That is interesting. I wonder what's going on with those PTs. I think they're just bitter because like I always avoided the hell out of them like growing up. And I think they're just bitter and angry at us because
no, I don't know. They're all like super
they can't fix us, so therefore they get upset, you know, because it's like we're messing with their whole image, you know. It's like they're selling snake oil to us, you know, even though they're not, but you know. Just to help some people out there somewhere, I'm sure.
Just to give you an idea, I go to a student event for occupational therapists, so like college students every year, and there's only 600 of them there. And I went to a PT one, the same, only students studying PT, and there are 1,400 of them there. The PT event, I sold maybe $400 worth of merchandise to 1,400 students. At the OT event, $5,000 to $6,000 every single time on like half the people. Like, it's insane. And the PT events, I literally met one kid who knew he wanted to work with people with physical disabilities. One out of 1,400.
Wow, weird.
And it was all about Paralympians and stuff. It wasn't about like you and me. It was like, you know, super quads and super pairs running like the Olympics. You know, it wasn't all encompassing, but he was still the only one.
That's so strange.
Yeah, all the others just wanted to like be sports PTs and fixed people. So, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions to ask at this point? I unmuted everybody, so feel free to interject and ask a question at this point.
Yeah, I do.
Questions?
Okay, Angie, go ahead.
Stevie, trying to figure out how to word this.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, I heard you talk about how people react to you, and that, you know, they sometimes get that you are the end all be all, I'm tongue tied, three love, and then when they don't, I have a similar thing. But what I wanted to know from you is, knowing that you're receptive to selling your product and that you're using it as a tool, if you were to go to the Right Way Facebook page and look at our logo, would it be acceptable if at some time, if I wanted to do a promotional thing, that I could substitute my little wheelchair guy with yours?
Or that's trademark, right? That's a trademark.
Yeah. So we don't allow that because we don't allow anyone to use our symbol to represent them unless they pay a license for it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we run into that all the time. There's actually a durable medical equipment company in San Diego using our logo for like everything. And I might have to go to court because they actually are the first people in 7 years not to just listen to me and like take it down. They're like, they're actually challenging me, and I kind of like being challenged. I try to get off on it myself, but at the same time, I don't want to spend the money to like shut them down, and that's also kind of nerve-wracking. But yeah, that's a big problem that I have with my business, and a lot of people have with, you know, their businesses, is just protecting what's theirs. And I don't even consider it mine. That's a really hard part. I don't consider the wheelchair part mine. I consider it ours. Like, it's our communities, and like it's the disabled communities. Like, not mine. I just am blessed to have the opportunity to use it for good, I think. That's like how I feel about it.
Well, I think I wouldn't tell that to the lawyers.
No, I tell that to them. They did it.
But yeah, is that all you had, Andrew? Did you have another parts of the question?
Well, it's kind of related, because what I was trying to understand was that at least with what I'm doing, I have found that people, if I approach them as my business and say, "Hi, I'm Angie from the Right Way," I find that they take me more seriously. If I were to say, "Hi, I'm Angie Wright, and I'm here to do blah, blah, blah," I get like, I get the fluff off the shoulder. You know, even though they don't see me, they hear me before they see me. Right?
What do you do, Angie?
Well, I am basically an accessibility advocate, and I support the laws of accessibility here in Ontario. Like, you guys got the ADA. I have the AODA. And so I approach the public and private sector and, you know, make sure that they are adhering to our AODA.
Oh,
and if they don't, I tell them, excuse me, you have a problem, and I point it out, and I advise them that they have a deadline and whatever, and I basically tell them what they got to do or else they risk penalty.
Oh, so you're kind of like a consultant.
Yeah, but I also see myself like a tax man.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna owe me money if you don't pay up, right?
I think that's more the reason why you get fluffed off. You gotta understand that, like, it doesn't matter what you do and for what reason, that there's always a buyer and a seller, and you're the seller and they're the buyers, and quite frankly, they don't want to buy until they have to. It's like
Well,
me.
yeah.
I don't want to buy. What's a good example?
A BiPAP.
What's up?
A BiPAP.
I do not want to buy a BiPAP. I have zero interest in a BiPAP machine.
You don't want to spend $6,000 on a BiPAP?
I really don't want to buy one. But
I get mine free.
oh well, okay. Anyway,
Canada, move to Canada.
point is that that's a little different ball game. What I sell, it's a little easier. There isn't that stress. There's not that tension. Like with any entrepreneurial project, you need to figure out what you're selling, why you're selling it, and why somebody wants it, and then build your marketing and build your approach to those questions. And so,
I'm sorry.
What
I
was
just have one last question.
okay, what's up?
It's very straightforward. I assume that you did a business plan.
No.
Oh, okay, because I was going to ask you, how closely are you following your business plan?
I don't know. I'll see what I do
You
tomorrow.
know what? I don't agree with you. You have a plan. You had a plan when you started. It may not have been on paper with the words business plan.
Yeah.
But you definitely have a trajectory that you're following. You're not totally off the cusp.
When I first started, I would disagree. I guess Annie had a business plan. I did not have one, so I was just like her big brother with a checkbook that was helping her. So like in the beginning, I have no clue what her plan was, other than we were going to sell T-shirts at the Disabled Pride Parade in Chicago. I mean, literally, like that's all I knew. But in the very beginning, Annie didn't even think of 3D Love as a T-shirt company. She had other ideas that I think are actually closer to what maybe Angie has in mind of what she's doing. She wanted to be like the disabled disability consultant, specifically with sex and relationships, actually.
We talked about our cripple brothel for a long, extended amount of time. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, exactly. So we were just selling T-shirts as like an avenue to start something else. But then when she passed away, all I had was T-shirts, and I didn't know what else to do. And I don't have a degree in disability studies, and I have no interest in going back to college, and I have no interest in talking about the laws. I don't really care. I mean, I do, but I don't, you know.
Copyright law.
What's up?
Trademark law. Trademark law. Other than trademark law.
I really don't care too much about that either. I just pay people to handle it, but I hate it. Point is that I didn't know what else to do. So I just kept doing what we were doing, and that turned into more, that turned into more, that turned into more. It just kept evolving. So I guess I have a plan. My main plan is to like take advantage of every opportunity that comes my way. That is my business plan. If an opportunity is in front of me, I attack the shit out of it. A really, really good example is this. About 2.5 months ago, I accidentally started a music merchandising company. I had no idea I was going to. And now at the end of 2015, it will probably be 30 to 50% of my entire company's revenue. And my company already serves like 15 employees, if that gives you an idea. And it all started because about 1.5 years ago, November 2013, I got a text message from a dude named Joe. And Joe's like, hey, I know a friend of yours. I heard you print T-shirts. I'm in a band. Do you want to print shirts for me? And I'm like, no, not really. I don't really want to work with bands, but in the back of my head, always say yes. Always say yes. Now, don't always say yes. There's situations you say no, but there were reasons. There were no reasons for me to say no. There seems to be a paying customer who wanted 50 T-shirts, and I've got equipment that prints T-shirts. Now, usually, that equipment prints wheelchair hearts, and that's all it does. But he sent me his designs, and they seemed easy. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Now, I printed up 50 shirts. A month later, he wanted 50 more. 2 months later, he wanted 100 more. And it kept going and going and going. Well, before I knew it, his little band was 7% of 3E Love's entire revenue. And I just it just hit me. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, I can't believe this happened. And then in December of 2014, I remember the day. It was actually December 28th. I saw on their Facebook, that they signed a major record deal with a worldwide distribution company. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I'm going to lose them, or I better go hire a bunch more people and invest like $100,000 into my company, because I don't know what I'm going to do. And about 3 days later, I got an email from their managers, and it was pretty much, hey, Stevie, the guys love you. You've helped them from the beginning. They want to stay with you, but we know that you're not ready for this. We know that you know the business, you know the music industry, you used to work in it for like 4 years. We know that you understand it, but we know you're not ready for it. Do you think you can be ready? And I'm like, I guess so. So I talked it over with my staff. We had big meetings. And I'm like, hey guys, is it cool if I start a music merchandising company? And my staff was like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, fuck it, I am anyway, so have fun. So I did it. And then about a week later, once I gave them the green light and I gave them my little Microsoft Word, here's my business plan, how I'm going to handle your business now that you're going to be touring all over the world, that caught the attention of another manager. And now I have 8 full-time touring bands only 2 months later on my roster. And it's all I've been doing for the last month and a half. I have not spent more than an hour a day on 3E Love in the last month and a half.
May I ask for you to share some of these bands' names?
Yeah.
I will judge you.
What?
I will judge you, just so you know.
Hey, I don't be
I didn't want it. I didn't want it. All right, who are they?
The main band is called Knuckle Puck, like the movie Mighty Ducks. You know Knuckle Puck?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, or no? No? Okay.
No.
Anyway, Knuckle Puck. That's what they're called, like your knuckles on your hand, and then a hockey puck. Knuckle Puck.
Okay. Nickel Puck. Okay.
They're a pop punk band from Chicago, like hardcore influence. Then there's a band called Bonfires. They're another pop punk band. Then there's a band called Sorority Noise. They're like an indie singer-songwriter from Connecticut.
Yeah, I've heard them.
There's a band that Maria is going to know, I hope, Modern Baseball from Philadelphia.
Oh my god, seriously?
Yeah, I'm meeting them next month. I'm really, really stoked on that account. It's like
I'm like randomly Facebook friends with one of their people.
it's like
They need to book a show, and they're like, who in Atlanta can book a show for Modern Baseball? Oh, Maria!
yeah,
So, continue.
it's like a $200,000 account. I'm really excited about that one.
Right?
And then who else? Cayetana, an all-chick indie punk band from Philadelphia. And then, God, who else?
Hey, you should ask Modern Baseball if they know Hop Along, and then I will, like, possibly marry you if you get that one. Because, like, Hop Along is from there, and I would die, pretty much.
I'll work on that. I need a wife. I'll work on it.
So we might need your benefits. So.
Well, I know we're in band talk right now, and I totally think that's really neat.
I'm sorry.
No,
Sorry.
it's totally fine.
That's the point of that. The point of that story. Before I cut you off,
Yes.
is that's my business plan. Literally, like
Take all the opportunities that come your way unless you have some moral obligation not to.
right. And if you financially or physically or resource-wise, you can't handle it, so it makes perfect sense. I have shelving. I know how to print T-shirts. I know how to ship T-shirts. So why don't I do it for other people, not just wheelchair hearts?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to ask a question Eric put in the chat, which kind of ties into some other things that I was going to ask. So I don't really know your Social Security Medicaid world. I imagine that you're not in it anymore.
I never was actually.
Do you know about how that works when you have a business? Like, and I guess not being in it, like not drinking the Kool-Aid and drinking the Medicaid or the government assistance Kool-Aid. Like how do you approach that as far as your disability goes? Like how do you work that out?
So right now, you know how every state has personal care assistance hours, and every state is different, right? So
Right.
different than Georgia, whatever. I'm in Illinois, and so I still use the services of what we call home services, but I signed up for it before it was required to receive Medicaid. So I got grandfathered in, and now the only rule is that I had to have applied for Medicaid at some point in my life and been rejected. So when I was like 21 out of college, I had private insurance through my job, but I knew I wanted home services, so I applied for Medicaid knowing I would get rejected. And because of that, I was enrolled in the program, right? Now, my program in Illinois, I was grandfathered in, so I can use it even though I don't have Medicaid, right? So that's step one for me. Step two for me is that I'm not allowed to have more than $17,500 in assets. I can make $10 million a year, and they would not kick me out of the program. But if I ever have more than 17.5 in assets, they would kick me out. So I cannot
Can I ask
find.
how many hours that provides you with? And are you doing like consumer directed services, or are you?
It's all consumer directed. They only give me 8, but I'm currently breaking a few rules, and I don't want to get audited, so I've not asked for more. But I only did 8, and Illinois is notorious for being really, really shitty. And so even if I fought, I probably wouldn't get any more than 12 or 13 a day.
Right, I'm going to push the envelope and get evaluated.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I'm not going to push the envelope and get evaluated just to get 2 or 3 more hours a day. I'm not going to risk that. My plan is to get off of it completely by the end of this year or early next year. That is my goal because I just want out of it. I don't want to have to hide. I don't want to have to play games. Right now, we have paperwork that says that my mom owns everything, but basically, no matter what, it all funnels to me. And so, and the reason is that we cannot find any lawyers or experts that will guarantee me that if I was audited, if the company of 3E Love, if their assets would count towards my assets if I was the sole owner. And we can't find a straight answer, so I didn't want to risk it. So we played the paperwork game, and my mom is technically the owner, but there are certain clauses in certain situations that I can take that away from her. And there's certain events that would just send it to me.
And so do you, I know that you have the services, but do you do any independent hiring? And have you factored that in as far as, like, let's say you didn't have this service, this home service or whatever it's called. What is it called?
Department of Home Services.
Yeah. Like, let's say you didn't have it, and you're what you're saying, you're not going to have it in a year. How are you basically going to manage your attendant care? Are you going to just pay out of pocket? And if you are going to pay out of pocket, what is that going to cost you? How many hours are you going to allocate? How do you do benefits? How do you do all of
that? Including what the state of Illinois pays me and my mom through the home services, I spend between $7,000 and $10,000 a month on my personal care.
Oh wow! Right now?
Yeah.
Right now. So you're able, and so does that allow you to bring home a paycheck, or are you putting all your money towards your attendant care?
It's hit or miss.
Shit.
It depends on the month. All of last year, I was bringing home a paycheck, and then at the end of the year, after the end of year bonus, I almost hit 6 figures in income. But on top of that, I spent 40 or 50K to personal assistance through the company. So let's just pretend that I paid all my personal care assistance through my checkbook, right? My checkbook. And I did not have any money from the state. I probably would have spent, my income would have been about 200 grand last year, and I would have spent on PAs 190 to 110.
Holy crap.
On PAs and on, but you
would you say 190 or 90 to 100?
No, 90 to 110. I don't know the exact numbers because it makes me ill and I don't like to think about it.
Okay.
But for the benefit of educating people, I will think about it and talk to you about it. So basically, this is what goes down. I treat all of my PAs and anyone that helps me because of my disability, even if it's not a ass wiper, as an employee of 3E Love LLC. Okay? I do that for a few reasons. One, 3E Love LLC already has an EIN number, a federal employment number. That's A. B, less paperwork to fill out. C, they're already paying payroll taxes, so why not just lump it in? I don't want to have to do 2 separate payroll returns, right? Every month, every quarter, every year, annual reports, all that bullshit that comes with having independent employees, independent of the state anyway. Then the other reason that I really do it is because I share some of the cost burden. So 3E Love's payroll is like 300 grand a year, right? And it has a very, very good track record with workers' compensation, with unemployment. And so I pay lower rates on all of my personal care for all the insurance, all the benefits, all the everything, because I'm lumping them in with all of my non-personal care employees. So all of my PCAs are employees of my company, and I just use it for whatever the hell I want.
So their checks say 3E Love. Their paychecks say 3E Love.
Yep.
And then you tie some of your personal care into your business expenses because you can say, I need someone to type for me. I need someone, like they'd be a personal assistant at times and doing, you know.
Well, when you own your own business, as long as you're not breaking any like Department of Labor laws.
Like they're not giving you blowjobs or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while, but no. But the point is that I can do whatever the hell I want, and that's the awesome part about America. Sorry, Canada, but the awesome part about America is that as long as you're not like breaking any laws obscurely, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can create whatever you want, and then once you create it, then you just see if it passes the litmus test for what's legal. You know?
So here's the question: You've worked really hard, and would you say a lot of it's luck, or would you say a lot of it was working really hard? Because you'll see people with disabilities that are in the system right now that are so afraid to venture out and start a business, become an entrepreneur, because, they're not, it's a hit or miss, right? And so is the risk worth the reward for someone that is innocent? Like, what would you say to a person with NMD? What would you say to Stevie, 10 years ago that,
the same Stevie or just somebody else with my name?
Okay. Good question. No, I don't, I know you would say yourself because you see the outcome now and you know that it was awesome.
No, come on. Hi there, guys. It's TK.
Hey, TK. You just interrupted our very important conversation because you're late.
Wait, I thought it was at 9 o'clock.
No.
Hell no, but we'll do another hour for you, buddy. I was just dodging the law for like 10 minutes. You missed it. I hate lawyers.
Oh, shit.
I thought I was early.
No, you're not early. You're late.
Oh man, I missed it.
Oh, man.
I was paying attention.
Are you
Right.
serious?
Emily, you're not advertising this stuff. Wow.
Are you serious? Oh my God, Bert. You are not reading, lawyer. I've been posting.
I have a job. I'm reading work materials and not, apologizing around.
Well, if you're not paying attention, it's not my fault.
Notice, I am throwing Emily under the bus.
Anyway, so anyway, I want to get back to my question, but thank you very much for coming, Greg and TK. I'm glad you've joined us. Maybe there'll be more people that'll come. It's not my fault that you're late.
I'm double checking that right now.
Actually, it is your fault, by the way.
No, it is.
It is your fault. It is. I didn't get a memo. I get a memo.
Right.
In triplicate format, triple colors, yellow, pink, and blue.
All right. Anyway,
I'm just glad the two other dudes who are losing their hair showed up.
what'd you say, Angie? I could hear you kind of in there. What'd you say?
I was just saying, Emily, that lawyers need memos. So if you're going to talk to TK, you need a memo.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So anyway, let's get back to the question, Stevie. I want to know, because this is really important. We've got all these people that really want to start their own business, that really want to become entrepreneurs, and they're at a huge risk. So what do you say to those people? How do you tell them to work around this or figure this out? Like, who could be their biggest helper in this whole thing?
Can we create a flow chart?
What?
I want to create a flow chart for you. Are you ready?
I thought you said something else.
What?
I'm sorry, Stevie. It sounded like you didn't say flow chart. It sounded like you said blow job.
Oh, really?
Sorry. Yeah, it did to me.
Hey, well, that's legal in 15 states now. So,
Well, the problem is it's the Canadian phone lines. They distort everything.
Too bad you don't have video on your screen right now. Let me tell you.
So the flow chart. Okay.
Wait. Why do you think I called in? I don't want to see that. There you go.
All right. I'm gonna have to go to muting everyone again. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm sorry. All right. So Stevie,
Flow chart?
Yeah, talk about this.
Here's the flow chart. If you're not on benefits when you start, then why the hell not? Okay?
Right.
So young little Stevie didn't have Medicaid, didn't have SSDI, and didn't have any plans to be on it because no one ever told me about it. I didn't know shit about it. Okay? Seriously, no one told me about benefits for being disabled. I had a disability, and I went to college. I found out 4 years in that I just spent $100,000 on college, and somebody would have paid for it. Okay, no one helped me. Okay,
was Annie in the same situation?
No, Annie found out 2 years in, so she made changes, and she got half of her college paid for.
Okay.
So. Yeah, luckily I had a full scholarship. All I had to pay for was housing. So
Attending care in college? How did that work out?
What's up?
How did attending care in college work out?
Whoa, can we go back to our flow chart, the one that
I know, but I mean, like, oh, that's so complicated. All right, anyway.
All right.
So you were really benefitless. You didn't have anything.
I knew jack shit.
Okay.
And my parents, like, you know, successful entrepreneurs, you know, they planned on sending their kids to college. They weren't out there looking for handouts for benefits for me. You know what I mean? So, like, it was never on our minds. Okay? So, if you're one of, like, somebody like me, then why the hell not start a business? Like, there's nothing holding you back, you know? Like, I've been starting business since I was, like, 12 years old. Or 10, whenever my paper route was. So, the point is that in my situation, I would not change a thing, okay? Because I would rather try to create my own business, be in control, hire my own staff, live my life the way I want to. I can come in at 12 p.m., 12:30 p.m., and it doesn't matter. And I'm here at my office right now at 8 p.m., and I'm not being paid any extra to be here 3 hours late, right? It's my damn choice. And I love that lifestyle. It fits very well for being disabled. Being an entrepreneur and a business owner is perfect for having a severe physical disability, okay? So I wouldn't trade it for the world. Now, if I did not have a family who could financially support me through the ups and downs, if I did not have that, and I knew about the benefits, and I needed the benefits, then my answer to them would be, well, if you have the opportunity for a full-time job in the real world, not fake business world that we just create, in the real world, like a real employment opportunity, I would take it. I would take it. Now, just because you're working for somebody else and you're working 9 to 5 and you're getting paid and you're getting benefits doesn't mean you can't go and be entrepreneurial on the side. You know, being entrepreneurial is a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's taking advantage of opportunities when you have them. So let's say TK is a good example. TK had a law degree. I don't know whether or not he was on benefits. Just for shits and giggles, let's say he was, okay? So TK is in college, young little TK, and he's getting a degree, and he gets a job offer to be a lawyer at a firm in Manhattan. He's going to get paid like $60,000 a year, plus health insurance. He should freaking take that, right? Why the hell not? It's a good opportunity. It's security. It comes with health insurance. It comes with everything he needs. But hey, TK is entrepreneurial. And after a few years, he realizes he'd rather start his own thing. So maybe on the side, he'll start a little practice and start building up clients and start getting his feet wet. And then maybe a few years later, he's got a growing practice on the side, or he has the opportunity and the savings to do it the right way without relying on Medicaid and SSDI. Because let's face it, SSDI is what, $700 a month, $800 bucks? I have no idea what it is, but it is not a lot of damn money. It's nothing, okay? So, you know, you're not risking that much by not having that money, but you do need savings, right? You need support from somewhere in case it doesn't go well. So, in his situation, with that flow chart, like, had a job for a few years, started something on the side, and then one day, then he takes the risk. You know, once he has savings, or, you know, once he has confidence and experience. But if I'm like 28 and I've never had a job, and, you know, I've been living off of Medicaid and SSDI and services based on the state, I wouldn't risk those benefits to start a company. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean you can't play the paper game and put that company in your mom's name or your sister's name or your friend's name or whatever, and then write up some fancy paperwork that puts you in charge when you want to be in charge. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I have a question for you. So basically, and just to summarize what I'm hearing, is that you're saying that that someone, you gotta have to make a smart, it has to be a smart investment, a smart risk in your future. So if you are in a situation where you're not on any benefits, then you're kind of similar to you and just go for it, take the risk, see what happens. But if you're in a situation where you have benefits and you're working towards a real job, a real career goal where you can kind of balance both of it, try to do that, and then do the entrepreneurship stuff on the side. But the big thing would be to not quit the job and then jump into a business without having any kind of confidence that it's going to succeed.
Yeah, you got to understand that my disability costs my business over $150,000 a year. $150,000. All that money is money that's not in my pocket or not in somebody else's pocket. You know what I mean? And there's no magical fairy of the government that's going to give me that money, right? But as my disability progresses and as, I need more assistance than I need now, and I want better PAs because I don't want to pay. You get what you pay for in this world, right? If you pay somebody $11 an hour to wipe your ass, you're going to get shit for a PA, okay? So I pay my PAs really damn good.
Can I ask how much you pay them?
I pay them between $250 and $400 a day.
A day?
That's very good. So what does that break down an hour? How many hours do you get assistance for?
Get assistance or give assistance?
Well, no. How many hours do you?
24/7. 24/7.
So 24/7. So 24. So they're making.
We're looking at anywhere between $15 and $22 an hour.
Okay. And do you? And then they get benefits under your company. Is that how it works?
I have a stipend. My benefit system here is that if you buy your own health insurance, I will reimburse you up to a certain point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's actually that's awesome.
Yeah, my full-time personal care assistants make between 30 and 50 grand a year.
Okay.
And they only work 2 or 3 days a week.
That's amazing. So you're basically, I've also noticed as a person with a disability that has let go of Social Security benefits and that risk, it was scary as hell. It was the scariest thing in the world. And but honestly, it's almost like a fear that stops us sometimes. And that, when you can let go of the fear, I think that there's a lot of things that can come out of that are pretty amazing. And so it's kind of neat to see that because you're kind of an example of what happens when you let the fear go. And I realize it's calculated. I don't think and would you say that some of it is luck that you've ended up where you're at? Or would you say it was just a lot of fucking hard work?
I think hard work creates luck, but luck still had to happen. Hard work creates luck, but you still have to take advantage of it, and you still have to have it go your way. Like, the reason why I'm potentially having another 400 to 500 grand in revenue this year is because I luckily got a text message one day. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if I wouldn't have worked my ass off for 4 years to be able to take advantage of that luck, I wouldn't have it. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
And so back to what you were saying though about PAs, because running your own business, let's say you started a business tomorrow, Emily, right? Okay. Right now you can type for yourself, right? You can type on your own, maybe if you can't, you can use Dragon, right? Whatever, okay? But let's say 2 years from now, you work your ass off, luck hits you in a few ways, maybe you find some investors, maybe whatever you're doing takes off, right? Now you've got 8 employees, okay? 5 employees, but you're still in charge, right? You're running the show. Now you've got to work 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. You can no longer let your disability be an excuse. In the beginning, it can be an excuse. Okay, when you're only working 4 hours a day, you're tired, you don't have a PA to put you to bed, later, so you have to go to bed earlier. You don't have a PA to wake you up one morning. There's no office to go into. You know what I mean? Like, that when you start a business, there's no one depending on you. Now that I've got 15 employees, over $1 million in revenue, I've got a $300,000 payroll, I've got meetings every single day, I got phone calls every single day. My disability can no longer be an excuse. Ever, right? Ever. Because if it is, and it becomes one for a longer period of time, let's say I get sick for a month, and I don't have it set up where it runs on its own, what happens? 15 employees go without their paychecks.
That's why you need to bypass Stevie Hopkins. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But the point is that yes, it's a huge risk, because when you're doing your math based on your life now, you're not considering the math of running a business. It's more like my disability costs my business more than it would for a normal director, CEO, VP, executive, right? Mm-hmm. So it costs more to support me than it would another disabled employee if they were just a 9-to-5 employee. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's very, very stressful. It's very, very expensive. There's nothing wrong with starting a business on the side, though. One thing that I'll be honest with you, I'm a very honest person. One of my biggest pet peeves in this disabled world is when people say, oh, I can't start a business because of my benefit. So what the hell are you talking about? Like, put up a damn webpage, like, buy some postcards down the street, do some mailers, like, do some marketing. Like, how the hell does that take away your benefits? Like, you don't have to report the income. You don't have to incorporate it in your name. You don't have to, make it so that you're going to lose your benefits. Like, why are you letting it stop you from taking an idea and trying it out? That is idiotic. And it drives me insane.
All right. Well, thank you for that. It was very good. That covered so much. I want to ask you a question about your management style. I want to know, is your management style as a business owner different from your management style as a PCA manager?
No. Though that's hard to say, because I managed PCAs in college, and then I took a few years off, and then I didn't start doing that again until I had to because of my business. So they sort of grew together, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. My management style is changing, though, on a regular basis. When I first started 3E Love, I sort of treated 3E Love and my employees, even my PCAs, like, here are your options. Remember those Choose Your Own Adventure books that we used to read in school? Here's option A. Here's option B. Choose your own adventure, and let's see what happens. Like, literally, that's how I started my company, and it's how I also sort of, even today, kind of run my PA world, because I have enough employees and enough staff and enough people around me at all times that I can give a lot of freedoms that other people probably can't. So, for example, this Wednesday, I have a shift change for my PCA. Nate is leaving at 5 p.m. He always leaves at 5 p.m. so he can catch a train because he lives in the city, an hour away from me, and he works for me for 2 to 3 days straight. He makes a shitload of money, and then he goes home, and he smokes a lot of weed, and that's what he does, okay? So at 5 p.m. he leaves, and I know that. Rebecca starts after him. Now, Rebecca drives her own car. She's not dependent on a train. Rebecca likes to sleep in. Sometimes she is hungover. Sometimes, she's at class. Other times, she's at dinner plans with friends. And I say, yo, you can come at 4 p.m., or you can come at 8 p.m., or you can come at 6 a.m. the next morning. But you need to tell me 2 weeks in advance which one you want to come at, and I have other options to fill in the gaps. So she chose 8 p.m. And Liz, another employee who works for me, she'll work for me from 4 until 8. She'll do all my typing. She'll take me pee if I have to go. She'll feed me if I want to eat. She'll drive me down the street if I have to go somewhere. But she's never lifted me. Well, she did, but she dropped me. She's not good at lifting, and she'll never lift me again. And so I just know that on Wednesday, I need to take an extra Imodium because from 4 to 8, I will not be able to shit. And so, what's up?
Fascinating.
So, long story short, I've always sort of run my life that way in my company, is I like to give all the people that love me and all the people that support me a ton of freedom and options. That way it also serves them. I have a rule in my life, and no matter what my management style is 20 years from now, I hope that this rule stays intact. And the rule is that every person that comes into my life, everything that they do for me and everything that I do for them, it will benefit them in the short term, the interim, and the long term. And so when someone comes into my life, I tell them, what are your short-term goals? What are your medium goals? And what are your long-term goals? If I don't think typing for me or wiping my ass or feeding me or whatever they're doing for me is going to serve all 3 of those goals, I do not hire them. And the reason that's good is it forces them to be honest and come straight forward and tell me what they want in their life. And it also lets me plan their job around what they want. And so Rebecca wants to go to nursing school. She's going to be an amazing nurse. Unfortunately, she's not a great test taker. So she didn't do too well when she was applying, okay? So my plan with her is she's working nonstop, around the clock. I'm helping her with savings. I'm helping her with planning. I'm helping her with lifestyle management choices. Like, I'm literally helping her basically leave me. I don't want her to leave me. She's amazing. She's awesome. She's fun. She's a great ass wiper. She wakes up 6 times a night and doesn't give a shit and has a smile on her face. And she farts in front of me. And she's just cool as hell. I would love for her to be with me for 20 years. But she wants to be a nurse. And I help her get there. And because I help her get there, guess what? She's a better employee.
Right.
And so
I think that there's so many things that you're saying, and I'm not a business owner, but there's so many things that you're saying about management that I think apply to PCA management, that apply to just general disability stuff. I think that there's things that we try to get across in how to treat our PCAs, how to hold on to our employees. You know what I mean? How to keep a relationship going. And I think that those are very wise words, Stevie. You were right on the wise. The wise. You gave me some wise.
Well, I think another thing that really, really annoys me, and many of you may be guilty of this, and I'm sorry, but it annoys the shit out of me, is posts on like Facebook or on the group, maybe complaining about little rules and stuff that their PCAs break. You know what I mean? And I get that, they break your rules. You're pissed. Post about it, right? But if something keeps happening over and over and over and over again, it means that you're doing something wrong, not them. Okay? And so with the way that I run my life, whether it's PCAs, employees, whatever, I let them choose their own adventure. I give them options. They have so much freedom that when they take advantage of that, then I weed them the F out of my life, okay? So what I get annoyed with is when you're the opposite management And it's like rule. Show up at 9 a.m.
Micromanagers. Yeah.
What's up?
Micromanagers.
Yeah, like micromanagers. Like if that's how you want to run your life, then that's fine. But then you need to hire certain types of employees that want to be micromanaged and do it well. And if they're not working out after a month, get rid of them. Because most people don't want to be micromanaged, but some do. You need to find those people. If you're going to be a rule Nazi and get pissed off the way that they put the food away in your fridge, then they don't fit well with your micromanagement style. So find somebody else. And I don't know, that's just how the world works. Like you need to like, and with entrepreneurship too, like what's really, really important is understanding yourself and how you interact with the world, and then finding people that fit that. And I don't think enough people do that in this world. They want what they want, and they want everybody else to like work out, but that doesn't work that way.
Right. Well, thank you. I'm going to open it up for some more questions. I do want to mention that Blake wanted me to mention that his single. Do you want me to talk, Blake, or do you just want to just open your mic and talk?
Come on.
I'll just bring it up. Because this is back on the benefits thing. Although now I'm kind of scared to bring it up because I don't want Stevie to like come across the screen and hear me. But,
it's all good. I'm not scary. I just tell it how it is in my mind. It might not be real or true.
Yeah. But yeah, because like really, from my point of view, like I really could care less about like a Social Security check that's like you said, it's like nothing or whatever. But like the biggest cost I would have would be like the PAs. So if I on a Medicaid program, when you have your PAs, home and community based service, then you only have you have to follow the $2,000 asset rule or whatever. So yeah, you end up having to do things like what you're talking about, have somebody else have your company or do like the pass account or whatever. But I know it's understandable, but it's like sometimes I get kind of aggravated just because it's like so many freaking rules to go by. Because I don't really want to do anything shady where I'll get caught later and like it bite me in the ass. So like I want to follow the rules, but it kind of pisses me off that the rules are so complicated. Whereas like somebody else can just start a business, do whatever. But so.
Well, the thing is though, we have no control over that, and we can't change that. So if you really, really want to start a business, then do it in the ways that you can. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta do what you gotta do. If you need that Medicaid and you need that PA service, is it 2,000 in assets or 2,000 in income?
Assets, resources.
Assets? Okay.
Yeah.
Assets are easy to hide without breaking the rules. Okay?
Cash is king.
What?
Cash is king.
True.
And you don't actually have to hide them. You just have to put them in legitimate places.
Right, which is also known as hiding. But yes,
legitimate hiding places.
Legitimate hiding places. But the point is like, don't be afraid of like getting caught or whatever, because even though it's shady, as long as it's above the fold, who gives a shit, right? And
I mean, as long as it's totally legal, it's fine. Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking. I mean, it's even nerve-wracking for me because, okay, what if the advice I got was wrong? What if this happens? Well, what if I get hit by a fucking car tomorrow? Like
I really hate to sound like George Orwellian or whatever. Like I really hate to sound freaky, like in the sense that I really feel that we fear a thing that is not like we've been almost trained or brainwashed to fear more than actually risk. Like
in the summer, I almost like lost all of my attendant care. It was like a really close call. Like I got termination letters and everything. I barely kept it.
Wow.
I was totally screwed. I would have been totally screwed. So
what was it? Was it based on assets or what?
It was no. It was like a mistake on their part.
Wow.
Because it doesn't even matter. You could do everything right, and you could
even when you're doing your best to control it and avoid it, it can still screw you over. So there's really, I mean, if you look at it, it's like, I'm not saying, drop everything and just take a risk. I'm just saying that maybe the fear is a little bit unreal. I mean, what's the word? It's unreasonable. Like, I'm just saying that maybe the risk, is worth it at times.
Emily, I had a person, a longtime advocate in the disability community, contact me recently. And she had a job to offer people with disabilities, and her question to me as a benefits counselor was, how do I pay them without them having to report it? And I said, why don't you take this opportunity not to teach them how to cheat the system, but why don't you take this opportunity to teach them how to report it and use it and earn the money in a way that doesn't hurt them so that they can take a bigger job next time. And it was totally this radical idea to her. It's like, hello, these systems are in place. Teach them how to be independent, how to take more jobs, how to wean themselves off the system and keep the pieces of the system that Blake's talking about. Like, there is a way to do it. I've been doing it for 30 years, and I've never been cut off, and I know how to make it's not easy. Blake, you're totally right. It's difficult to navigate, but there's so many layers of due process that even if you're in a bad situation, you were able to prevent yourself from being cut off when somebody made a mistake.
Yeah.
I also think, Blake, that I like to call them first world problems. So, like, if you create a business on the side and it starts doing well, then it's a first world problem. You figure it out then. You know what I mean? Like, that's what entrepreneurship is all about, is trying something and seeing what happens. So screw the fear about the benefits. And what, like, would you want to do? A design business? What type of design business would you be doing?
Yeah, I guess so. Actually, I have a job interview tomorrow for like a regular job.
Regular job?
But before that, when I first signed up to come to this thing, I was thinking like a web service, like a subscription sort of service, like a, different, I don't know what, but yeah.
And so
then I would program and build and launch.
And so for me, when I first started, before I started playing around with all the fancy paperwork, because it's an asset threshold, right? Assets, not income. When I was making enough income that it might put my assets in trouble, I just spent my damn income. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to save the money. Like, if I'm working towards a longer goal, right? Like, I bought a new car. Okay, cool. I needed a car. That doesn't count. Like, the point is that, like, if you start a business and you start having income, you don't have to turn that into assets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, yeah. I think there might be an income rule too, but
there probably is. I don't know, but
well, there are. Once you're in the system, there are a lot of rules, and like I said, it takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of stuff. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be so afraid. I know TK and I often talk about our pullout amount, like the amount that we would have to be making to ditch it all. Like,
the rollaway number.
Huh?
The rollaway number.
The rollaway number, yes.
My number is $250,000 a year.
And you're going to get there, you said. You're pretty much ready to go.
I'm like 6 months to a year away.
Yeah, and you're down to the rollaway number. And, like, that's the thing. That's the
the rollaway number is the total number, like $3 million. For me, like the minimum rollaway for me.
You've got a very unrealistic
the mic drop number.
Not $3 million a year. I get total of $3 million.
Well, and I'll give an example that came up. A friend of mine contacted me, and she said, they're looking for an executive director for the Texas Council for Developmental Disabilities. And she's like, you'd be great for it. You should totally apply. You could totally get this job. It pays $90,000 to $100,000 a year. So I thought to myself, well, all right, maybe I'll do that. But then I thought, well, you know what? If I get that job and I make that much money, I won't qualify for PCA attendant care anymore. And so then I'd have to pay out of pocket for my PCAs, right? And so then I figured, okay, if I did that, that would probably cost about $40,000 a year if I just kept it at where I want it to be. And I would pay $12 an hour, which is not that great, but it's better than what I'm getting from the state. And I thought about that, and I'm like, okay, $12 an hour, $40,000 a year, deduct that from maybe I'd come in at $90,000. I'm bringing home $50,000, right? And then you got to take away taxes, and then I'm bringing home exactly what I'm making right now, but I'm not working as hard. And and so you look at that and you're like, that's not a job I can apply for. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work for me. And so
unless you want to have the laundry, Emily, because that's the sort of job that can lead to a higher executive level job.
Right.
So let's.
Right. If I cared enough to move up the ladder and reach a trajectory that would get me into a rollaway number, I would do it. But I'm 38 years old. I've got, things I've got. I'm not ready. I don't want to do that yet. That's not what I want.
Emily, you just basically in a nutshell told everybody here that you are not an entrepreneur.
No, I am. I just have other ideas. I know I need a rollaway number that's higher. I don't want to work for the Texas Council of Disabilities. I don't want to do that. But
what Alana was saying, it's like you can work harder. Yeah, you're a nut at the end of everything. It's gonna be like $40,000, but that job is gonna lead to your rollaway number way sooner than your current job.
But no, that's not. No, because I don't want to be. If I'm an executive director and I'm working really long days and I'm working for just as much as I'm making right now, and I can't focus on this nonprofit and I can't focus on all my other side shit, then I don't want to do it.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that I worked 4 years straight at 12 to 14 hours a day without taking a single paycheck so that I could get to my rollaway number next year.
Right. But so, you like what you do.
Right.
Yeah. But
so I think Emily's being very clear, though. That's not the direction that you want your career path to go in. Well, Stevie, yours was the direction that you wanted your career.
Yeah, see, if I were running my own business, if I were doing something that I really enjoyed, but if I'm the executive director of the Texas Council for Disabilities, that's just a title. And I don't care that much.
What if that leads to like being a VP at a major nonprofit that you really care about?
This nonprofit, then yeah, but no.
I think she's got her mindset as
but yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm
trying.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of like the rollaway number is a big. It's a scary thing. You know what I mean?
Scary as hell.
Yeah, and like so yeah, and it does involve a lot of work.
And it goes away too. You have to maintain that number.
Right. That's another thing.
Yeah.
So is your rollaway number factoring in that, or are you looking at the maintenance of the rollaway number?
I'm just crossing my freaking fingers and
right.
toes. That's how entrepreneurship is. Like the economy could crash tomorrow and people won't want to buy wheelchair hearts as much as they do now.
Right.
Right? But that's also why I'm diversifying into other avenues. Diversification is key, people. That's like the only thing I learned in college was diversification. Seriously. In PCA management, when I was having PCA problems, I hired 16 of them. I'm like, if I'm going to have problems with 4, I better get 16 so that it'll make up for all the shitheads so I'll have more people to choose from, you know?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, so diversification's, I don't know, it's very important.
Yeah, can I just add something right here? Like I think my main thing is if I can, if I get the right material. I know we've done this a lot of times in the group, and the different resources on like SSI and the benefits and whatever. But basically, it's the getting to your rollaway number without screwing yourself over. So I think if I could wrap my mind around exactly, like if I could put it in a plan, like if I knew this is how I need to manage my money so that like I could get to this number, then I could just roll away from it. Then I guess my problem is I haven't been able to wrap my mind around exactly what I need to do as far as making sure that nothing,
Well, there's like what I see when I'm working with different people. Like Stevie, you have a very high adversity threshold. You are willing to dive in and take big risks, and if it gets messed up, you just say fuck it and you start over again.
Yeah.
And like Blake, you have a lower adversity threshold. I do too. I have to know what the lay of the land is before I take the risk.
The only threshold I have is I just want to make sure that I have my PCA so that I know I can get up in the morning. That's the only threshold I have. Yeah.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I could care less.
That's a big thing to worry about. That's a legitimate thing to worry about.
Yeah.
And the thing is I think a lot of it involves like outside support as well. I mean, not saying that you don't have it, but I think that your family. I mean, Stevie, you have a family that's pretty solid behind you. Like they're gonna roll with it, whatever punches come their way, right?
Yeah, like my mom is tie-dyeing T-shirts in the other room right now, waiting for me.
And that's support, and that makes a big difference as well. And that's a rollaway factor as well.
Yeah, it's a huge factor.
So it all ties together, but it's really interesting to see different perspectives and learn that that there are people out there in our community that we can talk to that are doing it. You know what I mean? And
I think what's really important is small baby steps, and that's really, really important too. A lot of people focus on the end and the fears and this and that, and I just say, hey, if you have an idea, like start writing it down, start trying it in little ways. Like maybe Blake, maybe you have an idea for a business that maybe it'll take 10 years to get to the rollaway number. Maybe it'll take 2 years. Maybe it'll take 30 years, right? But you don't even know if you're going to be awesome at it or if it's going to work until you start trying it on a small level, And when I first started 30 Love, I had my mom and I had my family and I had the no fear of losing my benefits, right? But I also was like, hey, I just want to sell 100 shirts this month. That would be really, really cool. And then 100 shirts turned into 300, and then 300 turned into 1,000, and it just kept going. And then I managed my problems as they came to me. And I feel like what Alana was saying earlier is that, have reasonable goals and have baby steps and build up to those other jobs, So even though I've never had a job my entire life, ever. Well, wait, I guess I did. My dad hired me, but that doesn't count, okay? I've never had a job my entire life, so I don't know what that's like. But at the same token, I've started a lot of businesses, and almost every single one of them, all of them, was an idea that I had to put into place, and then I had to start doing. And even the ones that worked, I've had 3 or 4 that worked really, really well. And all of them took a few months, a year, a few years to get anywhere where money was even a factor. So that was another reason why I told you, Emily, if you have a job opportunity or if you need benefits to the point where you can't start a business, then just do it on the side, play around with it, but don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Because at the end of the day, 1 out of 7 businesses are successful. I don't know if that's a statistic now, but that's what it was 10 years ago. Okay? 1 out of 7 is successful. And it takes 3 to 5 years to see a profit and for the owners to see any income beyond what they were making before.
Is that why you wear scarves now?
Because I have income?
Yes.
I wear scarves now because I realized how warm it was, and I just wear them all day long, and I don't have to worry about a hoodie or a space heater.
Right.
That is why we're stuck.
Pretty stylish.
It's when I have a 3E Love T-shirt, but I don't have like the 3E Love like jewelry yet. But when I have a lot of income, then I will have the.
You should
I will
make
have
medallions.
I'll have it.
You should make like rapper medallions, like with diamonds.
I actually
Big like honking thing for Blake to wear in front of his disability case managers.
I actually have like a $75 silver medallion that we joke around that like whenever somebody buys, they're like, oh, they're the big spenders. So we have that. It's just not like 50 cent level. It's just like, I can spend money without losing my benefits level.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. We have that.
Do you
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Stevie, since you're so close to reaching your rollaway income, your rollaway level, once you reach that, are you going to basically save like a madman to try to, foreshadow any possible time where you might be, like you mentioned, down for a month when you're sick, or if you need more care in the future?
I should probably explain my rollaway number a little bit more, so I understand what goes into it, because I feel like we're all gonna calculate our rollaway numbers differently, and maybe you would be educated by how I'm calculating my rollaway number. So my rollaway number is about $250,000 a year. In income pre-tax. I calculate that is what I need if I want to maintain 24 hours, 7 days a week care, paying the people what I want to pay them, what I think I need to pay them in order to get top level, dependable ass wiping help. And that is around $15 to $17 an hour. Okay? That's that, and that would be paying it out of my income. Okay, that accounts for around $130,000 of my rollaway number. If my mom were just to disappear tomorrow, literally no more backup support, 24/7. I need a staff at all times, right? So that's $130,000 at $15 to $17 an hour, depending on the situation. Okay, if I lowered that down to about 12, I think I should still get solid help. But I've estimated from math and conversations that I will have higher turnover then if I put it down at 12. And I do not like turnover when I've got trips planned to other states and things that are months in the planning. Okay? So 15 to 17, $120,000, $130,000 a year. Then I calculate, okay, what do I need if I don't have a disability to live my life? I need health insurance. My health insurance costs about $400 a month. Private care insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, high deductible, covers me in all states, any emergency room, 100% after my deductible. If I'm on a vent for the next year, as long as I pay for my deductible, I got it covered. About $400 a month. That's $5,000. Then I figure I want to live in a nicer home / condo / apartment. I live in the city of Chicago. If my mom were to disappear tomorrow and I don't have her as a support system, I need to live downtown because that's where all the good PCAs work. I don't want professional PAs that live out in the suburbs. Professional PAs, in my opinion, are not good PAs for me. I want to find people that are looking for a career, and it just happens to be the assistant of awesome is what I call my PAs. Okay? The assistant of awesome is a young 23 to 35-year-old person looking for an amazing career opportunity with travel experience, management experience, scheduling experience. They can put their job for me on a resume and get other jobs, okay? That type of person lives downtown Chicago, not in the suburbs, typically, okay? So because I have to live in the city of Chicago, if I want a nice condo or a nice apartment, we're looking at $4,000 a month, $3,000 to $4,000 a month in housing. So now medical insurance, housing, location, car, I need about $100,000 to $120,000 in income after PAs to live my life the way I want to live it. And so that's what my rollaway number is.
So you're not factoring in savings into that.
I'm not factoring in savings. I'm factoring in living my life. Now, the great thing about running a business is, right now, even though I don't have my rollaway number, I don't live on my own. I live with my mom and dad still. I don't have a shitload of personal expenses. I have built up enough credit where I have banks that will literally give me $100,000 tomorrow if I need it. You know what I mean? So when you own a business, you have revenue. Even if it's not in my name, like my taxable income as a person has gone from like 0, 0, 0, 30, 100, 20 last year. This year it might be 0 again. I don't know yet, okay? So as Stevie Hopkins, I don't have a great track record. But 3D Love, it's got an amazing track record with credit out the wazoo. And so this year, for example, I'm expanding into this music merchandising, right? I just took out loans for about $75,000 to expand a new business. So let's say that works. I hit my rollaway number. I pay off all my loans, not my loans, but 3D Love's loans. I'm making $250,000. I'm debt free. Hey, worst case scenario, take out another loan. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I run my life. I run my life like a business. You know, like
you sound like every entrepreneur I've ever seen interviewed, like in fancy magazines like Forbes and shit. Like they all sound like you. Like it's like you have a genetic disease that you were born. It's like you were born into this.
It's awful. It's painful. So the point is I never take no for an answer. So Maria, am I going to start saving? If I hit my rollaway number, yes, I'll start saving, but not cash. I'll probably buy my own home and start building real assets, like equity assets. Because the only other thing that's better than cash is like property and things that you can use for leverage. So
there's actually been a study on this recently. I'll send it to you, not to interrupt this, but you're absolutely right. So
yeah. And so the point is that, like, you know, let's say I hit my rollaway number. No, I'm not going to start saving cash. I need to start building up other assets to protect my rollaway number, you know, because I need to keep investing in my company. Because, yes, Emily, I'm not in a BiPAP. I saw a doctor for the first time in September in 5 years since they killed my sister. Because honestly, like, I've been deathly afraid of going to doctors. I'm deathly afraid of getting a feeding tube, of getting a BiPAP. I don't want anything to do with it, okay? And I went to the doctor for the first time in 5 years in September. And I realized that anyone with SMA or any MD or any severe disability, whether or not you consider yourself a ticking time bomb, we have risk, right? We have higher risk. Like, I could get pneumonia tomorrow and be in the hospital for a month. I know that's possible. But if I live my life around that possibility, I'll never build up the system around me that will withstand it. You know what I mean? So that's my next goal. When I hit that rollaway number, my next goal is to hire other managers to run 3D Love so I can maintain my rollaway number and disappear. Not that I want to disappear, but what if I do?
Yeah.
What if I want to quit for a year? What if I want to, like, meet some girl on Tinder and have sex for 3 months straight? Like, seriously, I'm being honest. Like, what if I want to do other things but work 14 hours a day?
Well, and I think that I think that's like I said, a factor in the rollaway number, and that you basically you've got people depending on you, and in a way it's kind of holding, like, in a way it holds you back when you're in that kind of, yeah. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't want to move out of my house because I'm afraid, my mom tells me it could set on fire, and if it sets on fire, then I'll burn alive. And I'm like, the chances of you burning alive versus a lifetime of being on your own and being independent, like, that's what you're leaving. You're free to burn down, and that's really what's keeping you in the house forever. And it's just like, let yourself burn, like, burn, baby, burn.
Yeah,
right?
and that's entrepreneurship, man. That is entrepreneurship.
And that's where I got that spirit. And there's things, you start. I moved to Texas, and when I moved to Texas, I said I wanted to be able to know if I could live without my parents. I wanted to know that if I was all by myself, would I survive without them? And I threw myself into this situation, and I just said, fuck it, let's see what happens. And that is an entrepreneurship thing. But I think that that's what it is. You want to get into a situation where if you were to leave, if something were to happen to you, you're not in charge, it all wouldn't fall apart. And I think that's very good,
I think the other thing that I kind of already factored in that I didn't explain is that the only way I hit my rollaway number, the only way I hit it is if my company's revenue is probably about $1.5 to $2 million a year. And I am already assuming that once the revenue is that large, which it will be hopefully by the end of this year, I am going to have more staff that will be able to do the things I'm doing now. You know what I mean? So the only way I get to that rollaway number is by supporting that larger revenue base. And the only way I support that larger revenue base is with more staff. So if I were to disappear a year from now with a $2 million revenue, there's no way in hell that $2 million revenue will sustain without 20 to 25 employees, probably. Maybe even less than that, but still more employees than I have right now.
Would you choose your successor to be a person with a disability?
Oh my God, that has been actually on my mind a lot right now, because I am starting to think big picture and like glass half empty instead of glass half full. Not that I am like that, but like the more I start thinking about my future and like what I want out of my life, I also realize that I cannot run 3E Love forever. And so the question is, do I want it to carry on? Right? And I think the answer is yes. Like, you don't work your ass off on something if you don't want it to carry on, right? And not only that, but I believe in the social model behind it, so I want that to carry on. So I want the company to always be directed and run by the spirit of the community. And so one way to do that is to hire somebody with a disability who's in tune with the message. But what if they're not? What if they don't do a good job? What if they suck ass? Like, what if they're really an ableist in hiding? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, right? Like, I have no idea. And so it scares the shit out of me, because I don't know if the answer is just start hiring disabled people tomorrow and then let them take over the company, right? Because what if they're not good at running a company? It has nothing to do with their disability. You know, their disability doesn't give them a guarantee to run my company well. But so that's something I've been thinking about. One idea that we have is to sell 49% of the company to the public and let people like you guys buy shares of it. And then in my will, I will decide where my 51% goes to. And then that way, there are some checks and balances after I'm done with the company, whether it's through death or just retirement, that the minority owners will have power in hiring boards of directors and CEOs and chairmen, and will make sure that the company stays in tune with the message and the model. That's the only thing I can think of right now, and that's a tough thing to set up.
Right. Well, I always think about our group and the fact that we have about 900 people involved, and the highly qualified people that are in our group that are not finding employment right now. And I just think about, obviously you want someone to meet the qualifications, you know what I mean? But and they have to be, on the same page as you and the same philosophies and things like that. But I don't know. I think.
See, I think we've been talking about like two different things here. The very distinct topic of entrepreneurial stuff, and I think that with all of the public culture focus on, just like programs like Shark Tank, and there's a whole host of cable shows about people that have restaurants and do businesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Having your own business takes the right. It's not for everybody at all, but for the people that it is for, we need to make sure that those options are open and available. I had my own business for a while, and it didn't suit me that well because it wasn't really focused well enough. But I'm glad I did it, even if it wasn't wildly successful for a while anyway. But so what I'm saying, the other side of the coin of this conversation, it's really about living a purposeful and empowered life. And I mean, so for Stevie, it's running 3E For Greg, it's doing his public speaking thing. For Maria, she's gonna plan the best damn city there is in the world, and Blake's gonna build a computer system to make Maria City run. So and meanwhile, Emily's doing NMD United, and I'm trying to keep her in touch. Keep her on the right path. But the point is, there's a difference in focus between being an entrepreneur, which is one thing, versus living a purposeful existence, which is what everybody on the screen and in the group wants to do. So, I think what Steve's doing is fabulous, but it's really only one part of how to get there.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I think you have to set your goals for yourself as an individual because they're different from mine. Everyone's goals are different, and entrepreneurship might not be the right answer. So.
Right. It's a balance. It's a life-work balance, as cheesy as that sounds.
And for some people, just making a couple $100 is a huge. I mean, I lived on absolutely nothing, and to have just $200 extra per month when you're on SSI, and then you make $200. That $200 is the difference between eating macaroni and cheese every night versus ordering a pizza or chicken, Yeah,
no, I agree. So I'm glad you brought that up because this is all about entrepreneurship, and I don't think it's. I think
that the topic was entrepreneurship, but I think what we ended up talking about was, living a purposeful life. For you, it's entrepreneurship. For other people, it's not. And so that's all.
Are you saying
Eric has been chatting all night long, and I haven't really gotten to say a lot of the things that he's offered. Eric, I'm sorry. I do want to just say a couple things before he goes. He said investments grow, but savings doesn't. Burn this bitch down. He said that you should rent your rooms out and increase your chance, and get a wife to increase your chance of success. And anyway, I just didn't, I just want to just acknowledge and thank Eric again for coming. You've come to a lot of these, so thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
Bye, Eric.
And I didn't even get to say hi to Mark. I can't believe he showed up. I was just thinking, I was like, wow, that's Mark Plax.
What show is it? Yeah, he's from my neck of the woods.
I'm picking on his name. It's recording. I
What
forgot.
chose it?
What charge it?
What chose it?
I can't even do it. Mark P. It was great to see him.
Alright.
But no, and I just thanks again. Does anyone else have any questions for Stevie?
Yeah, actually, I do have a question that's like not disability related, but it's T-shirt printing related.
Oh boy.
So since because like, okay, I wonder this. I don't have any like grand dreams of doing any T-shirt printing businesses exactly, but sometimes like I wonder, like sometimes you stay up too late at night and you're talking about cool T-shirt ideas with your buddies and stuff that crap that you're probably not gonna do, but like if you want to print a T-shirt, like okay, these print on demand places suck. I mean, the quality of their shirts is really bad. Like I had some shirts done like that, and the crap started coming off of them after like it's so you need so I'm assuming like your shirts are like are they like screen printed or whatever.
Yeah, they're silk screen printed. All of the printing on demand places that will allow you to affordably print 1 to 2 or 3 or 4 pieces, that's it, for a cheap price. They use iron-ons and direct-to-garment, and it doesn't last as long. And they use vinyl transfer, so you want to use like permanent silk screening, and typically you can't buy those affordably for anything less than like 25 units.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna find out. I was wondering how many shirts you needed, and then like what do you have like a specific recommendation for like a company to go to for or like somebody who does like print like does the actual printing?
Me?
Oh, so you do the actual printing? Okay? I wasn't sure. Like
we do it all. We print like 95% of our product. So.
Okay. Well, okay.
That's very sweet. That's our revenue stream for Stevie. He's got 3 love the logo, and then he'll print any damn thing you want.
Okay, so if I let's just say, for example, that I had a T-shirt design that I did, and I like threw it up on Kickstarter, and 30 people backed it, and that's all I needed. So I can be like, hey Stevie, can you print this 30 shirts?
Yep.
Guys, is any okay? Cool.
That's easy. Simple.
Sweet.
When are you going to get more organically friendly, softer T-shirts?
Organic, as in like made from the earth?
No, like what are they called? The organic cotton or whatever. It's like this really soft, like really just like.
I love the heather gray. I love the heather gray T-shirt. That T-shirt is very soft.
It's nice. I actually have what you're talking about, Emily, but they cost $3 more on our website.
Just sell it at $3 more. Just sell it.
I have it.
No, but just make them use that. Just raise the price and just sell all your T-shirts with that cotton blend.
But people don't like it because they don't fit the same way. And people who wear like the size 2XL don't want that cotton clinging to all their rolls. I'm serious. Like, it's the truth. Like, you have to think about the user and what they want and how they want to look and how they want to feel.
I know, but like, I just love them so much, and I want them.
Well, then buy it.
All right, I will. So
if you want them, you need to start a business, Emily, and create.
I have to go. You know where I go to get all my soft T-shirts? I go to the restaurants in Austin. They all seem to have them.
Yeah. If you ever want like soft T-shirts, don't tell my suppliers this, but just email me and I will give you my catalog and I'll buy you whatever you want at cost. Like, I can get you like those high-end T-shirts that cost $30 blank for like $4.50 a piece.
Yeah. Do you sell them at your booth though? Do you ever sell them?
But I'll just send it. The nice ones, yeah, I do at my booth, but you don't come to my booth.
I do. I went to your booth, and I went to your booth in Houston.
Oh, I'm never there, but I'm gonna be there this year. Don't tell me.
Oh, really?
Hey, Stevie, are you coming up to New York?
Yeah, I don't miss New Jersey.
All right, cool. I'll see you there.
I love that town. I love New Jersey. I want to move to New Jersey.
Oh, Texas will kill you.
I want to move to Austin.
I'm thinking about Texas. I really am.
I don't know why. You're not getting shit out here.
But I want to live next to South by Southwest.
Do you want us to live next to it? Yeah, like it's like a little house.
You want to live next to the whole town.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's Austin's a cool. Stevie, you didn't get to see it all that much though when you were here.
I've been there before that.
Yeah.
I like it. Austin's on like my top 10 wish list.
You should come back and I'll drive you around and we'll have fun and we won't do anything that has anything to do with conferences and independent living.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories ever is involved in that conference.
Don't talk about it. It was a very hard time.
I want to talk about it.
No.
I'm going to talk
Stevie, I want to talk about it.
This is being recorded.
Maria, Blake, and I want to talk about it.
No,
You guys might. Oh, yeah. Come on.